Well, hello there. I hope you all had a wonderful Easter or Oster, however you celebrate, because really, when you get down to it, if you celebrate Easter as a Christian holiday, it is rooted in paganism. And I say that as a Christian. All right, so I am here because I want to follow up on some messages that my guides gave me last week. There was a lot that happened last week. On the 15th, Odin, Grandpa George, gave a message about a Page of Cups hazard and then spelled dealt hand pig money. And when I was asking him follow-up questions, at the end I was like, is there anything else you want to add? And he spelled Kilmar, not Dead. And I wrote it down and I kept it there. And I felt it was more important that I get out his overall message to spread hope. And also, it would be unethical for me to have put that message out there when his family didn't come to me to ask me. And this was something that was unprompted, but Grandpa George, Odin, really wanted me to know. And then on April 17th, while I was talking to Grammy, she had a message for the collective, and she said that the reincarnated goddesses have won the battle over evil. So if you are watching this video and you know that you are a reincarnated goddess and you have done something, and that something could be just as simple as acknowledging that you are a reincarnated goddess. You don't have to have done any type of spell work. But maybe you did. I don't know. But simply acknowledging who you are and why you came here for this moment in time was enough. And those of us that are the reincarnated goddesses, we've won the battle. And so she said, too, now is a time to look inward to find joy, goodness, faith, and truth. And I was done with the message and I said, okay, Grammy, it's time for me to go take an Epsom salt bath, because what made me sit down and ask what my guides wanted to say is because all of a sudden my body felt like I was in an MMA octagon ring out of nowhere. Yeah, that was great. I asked, are my guides giving me a message? Are they trying to get my attention about something? And sure enough, it was Hippolyta, my Grammy, telling me that we've been through a battle and we've won. We've come out victorious. So when I went to go start drawing my bath, I opened up TikTok, and the very first thing that I saw was the breaking news from the Midas Touch network about Kilmar Abrego Garcia having sat down with Senator Van Hollen. That was a sigh of relief. I know that as a world as a whole, we collectively sighed a relief. We saw proof of life. And it is amazing that the message that Odin gave me on the 15th, 2 days prior, that I held on to because I knew that it needed to be held on to, and that hope needed to be spread instead. That people needed to understand what was actually happening with the administration and their motives around why they're trying to convince people that Kilmar was not alive. That was more important to get that message out than anything. And because I did that, and other psychics chose to focus on the hope as well and to dismantle the narcissistic weaving of lies and manipulation, we chose to focus on that and highlight that. People started to hold on to hope. People started to see that his senator from Maryland was not going to let this down, that he was going to follow through, and thank God he did. because we got to see that Kilmar is alive. Just as Odin said. Hippolyta also said too on the 18th, she said, goofy little men issuing Kilmar Zoo. As in, like, a bunch of goofy little men were the one that orchestrated this zoo of chaos around Kilmar. And I asked specifically who it was. For the men, the goofy little men, it is Trump, Bukele, Rubio, Vance, and Hegseth. And then I said, is there anyone else? And she said yes, and she spelled gals. And I was like, oh, so Caroline Leavitt, yes. And Pam Bondi, yes. Anyone else? No. So just those people were responsible for orchestrating this zoo of chaos around Kilmar. But Hippolyta also said that justice has arrived for them, and that was on the 18th. The judge found the current administration in contempt of court. So justice has arrived, and we need to remember that just because somebody has gotten away with crimes they've committed in the past, Neptune's in Aries, and they hit a wall. March 30th was a wall, and they can no longer run. They can no longer hide. Every wrongdoing they have done is crumbling down upon them. Trust and believe. All you got to do is look and recognize the signs. It's coming to an end. And in January and in February, my guides talked about the ICC of faith. It's coming to an end. I will say too that Hippolyta did have another message that I'll be adding to my Substack as well. So if you don't follow me there, I hope you will. I also put out the first part of the deep dive into the 9 societal ailments that Agon, aka Barnabas, mentioned last week as well. So I started diving deep into that. So if you've not seen those videos, I'll tag it in this video as well. Or you can just go to my Substack and click on the post, and you'll be able to click the links that will send you to my YouTube page that have those messages up, because it's 2 of them, 2 parts to the message and a deeper dive on Substack. So all right, until next time, peace be with you.